when you know in your spirit that something great is about to happen? That's the way I feel. It's like the closer I get to it, the more joy I feel. But anyway, we'll have plenty of time for that. The reason I jumped on is because in a previous episode, I said I was going to tell you more about my travel journey. What got me here, right? And so rewards, points, and miles. That's what this is about. Rewards, points, and miles. Hey y'all, it's Suzette Beer and I'm redefining my 60s on my own terms. Welcome to my channel. A lot is going on because I am counting down to, drumroll, my Virgin Voyage cruise. The crowd goes wild. That is just a little bit, I tell you, a little bit of my excitement. I woke up this morning, sat straight up in bed. It was like, oh, we're going on a cruise. We're going on a cruise. Now, it's not that I've never been on a cruise before, but I've never been, excuse me, I've never been this excited though. Wow. You know when you know in your spirit that something great is about to happen? That's the way I feel. It's like the closer I get to it, the more joy I feel. But anyway, we'll have plenty of time for that. The reason I jumped on is because in a previous episode, I said I was going to tell you more about my travel journey. What got me here, right? And so rewards, points, and miles. That's what this is about. Rewards, points, and miles. So just to give you a little bit of a backstory about it. Okay, you know about how I woke up one day, realized I'm in my 60s and I haven't traveled to the places I wanted to travel to, blah, blah, blah. If you don't know, look at a previous episode. This is the next step though. I started searching for answers, which is always what happens, isn't it? You conceive of an idea, and for me, I start Googling. I start Googling keywords like travel, senior travel, and as you look through the different things that come up in the search, you'll see one thing that goes, then you see another thing that goes, and you see another thing that goes, and you just keep following those glimmers of light that I believe are there for you when you're on the right track. Well, one of those glimmers of light was actually a recollection that I had. The thought card. Danielle, Desir, she probably has a different name now because she's gotten married, but she has a YouTube channel called The Thought Card. And a major part of the thought card was travel. And I started thinking, bing, 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 bing. Danielle talks about how to travel affordably. So I got on YouTube, started searching for the thought card, and saw that she was still there, and I was so glad. And so then I started doing searches like affordable travel, things like that in her profile. And what came up was this. It was called episode number 170. Come on, Google. Secrets to Flying Business Class on Points and Miles with Dave Grossman. Now, I never heard of Dave Grossman, but I leaned in and I listened to the podcast. And the more I listened to how Dave broke it down, the more excited I became. So excited, in fact, that I looked in her description, found him on Instagram, and sent him a direct message. Now, when you're as popular and got your game on lock as Dave Grossman is, I didn't really expect to hear anything from him, not really. But, I said, well, let me do it anyway. Maybe if he's got people working for him, they'll be able to answer my question or something will happen. Because one thing I found out, really, sometimes you have to act your way to the right thing. And so I'm like, okay, just by virtue that I sent him an Instagram message, lets the universe know I'm really serious and I'm looking for answers. Well, what do you know? Dave Grossman direct messaged me back. So I'm going to go to that and read to you what I said to him, what he said back to me. And this is going to be very important because this right here helped launch me into travel and seeing the possibilities of being able to travel affordably. Because as I've said in the previous episode, I needed to make sense given the kind of people me and my husband are. So here is how it went down. I said to him, and I'm reading, so that's why I'm looking down here. I said, "Hi, Dave. I heard you on the thought card and have a question. Which is the best credit card to use for a cruise where some docks, DOCKS, will be outside the U.S. territory? We don't travel often, but anticipate traveling more, at least one really good trip, hopefully international, per year. We are both in our 60s and want to travel now before health, vitality, mobility becomes an issue." And he wrote back almost like quickly. I was like, wow. Now this right here, y'all, was November 22nd, 2024. If I want to get really specific, 3:38 p.m. Okay? He writes back. He said, "Hi there. I would go for this card." And the card that he referred to was the Chase Sapphire preferred card. And he broke down the reasons why he was recommending that card. Now, off the top, he said, 2 times on all your travel, including the cruise itself, plus no foreign transaction fees. Then he gave me the link. Okay? And of course, I'm going to provide the link in the description because y'all, the little bit I've used this card, oh my God. I'm like, where have you been all my life? It is excellent. But anyway, okay, so then I said, "Thanks for the recommendation. I currently have a Capital One Quicksilver and thought it might be easier to get the Capital One Venture Rewards card since I have a history with them and a great payment record. I should have led with that, but Chase Sapphire does have an edge, that's for sure." And then he wrote, "Capital One can be finicky, even with its own users, but you'd probably get it." I actually thought about offering that as my second choice. It's a great simple 2 times card, but I like the Chase Points ecosystem a bit more because of Hyatt. So he mentioned Hyatt. I'm thinking, okay, Hyatt hotels. So then I started researching about Hyatt and what makes Hyatt hotels cut above the rest. Now, some of you may argue. You might think the Hilton is the way to go. Somebody might say, yeah, the Hyatt is where it's at. Somebody else might say, oh, but I never stay anywhere else but Marriott. But for someone who hasn't traveled much, right, and has spent most of her time trying to find the cheapest alternative, which is not necessarily the best alternative, I have stories. But I wanted to really make this this season of travel more in alignment with my soul's joy. Not just affordable, but I wanted to have joyful experiences, right? And great memories. And so thinking about that caused me to keep going further. So that's kind of how things kind of jump started. Now to looking at rewards, points, and miles. And I'm going to also put in the description Dave Grossman's ebook. It's free, right? You have to go through a couple of little things, but it's free. and you can order it for free, the PDF version. And I began to read the ebook. I learned so much about rewards, points, and miles. Now, I already knew a little bit about rewards because, like I said, I have a Capital One Quicksilver card, and it has been really, really good. I honestly, I use that card religiously because the rewards are just absolutely great, at least, or familiar. And a lot of times when you use something and it's familiar, you don't deviate very much from it. So I will say things have probably changed since I got that card. And there are other cards out there that might have even better rewards. But at least I was using a card. I was familiar with rewards, right? And so that wasn't lost on me. Now, the points and miles, something of a learning curve. And I'm still learning, okay? So I'm not going to speak that much to what I don't know. As you continue to follow me, especially the travel part of everything, I will share more as I get to know more. What I can tell you, however, is at the time that I talked with Dave, the Chase Sapphire Preferred card, the annual rate, the annual cost, I guess I'll just say the annual cost of just having the card was $95. So is the Quicksilver Venture card too. That one was $95 as well. So I did some research on the difference between the two cards, and really you can't go wrong with either one. But I decided to go with Chase because it was different. It was outside of Capital One, and I was adventurous. I wanted to broaden my horizons and approach travel with a more broader sense of it. One of the things I can already tell you about the Chase Rewards card that I experienced. When I got my card, the introductory offer was 60,000 points right off the bat if you met a $4,000, at least a $4,000 in purchases within 3 months. Well, because I knew I was going to be traveling, I said, oh man, that's going to be easy. So I feel like I can actually do that and get the 60,000. Yes, you heard me right. 60,000 bonus points. Can I tell you, with the trips, that one trip I already took to San Juan, there's an episode about that, so check it out. And also the booking for Virgin Voyages, trip that I'm getting ready to take, that I'm so excited about, packing for it now. Already, and one other surprise that came, that of course when you're, like I said, when you're on the right path, the road rises up to meet you. The next right step presents itself. Another trip that I might not have even paid attention to, but because I was already thinking travel, not just one trip, but setting up the momentum for continuous travel, this was perfect. Let me tell you, I've only had that card since the end of November. I'm already up to 71,000 points. Now let me make it clear to you about how important that is. The point system can be the difference between you traveling economy or traveling first class. It can be the difference between you paying thousands of dollars to fly internationally or flying based on your points and only having to pay for sales tax. So y'all, it is definitely something worth looking into. So I'm going to leave more information about it in the description, but I wanted to give you just a little taste of what really started making in my mind travel more, not just an idea, but something that could actually happen. So more coming up. I'll talk to y'all a little bit more. Bye.